Rabbi Abergel, Kegagalan Upaya Zionis.
It might be surprising for you to hear that the famous walls of Jerusalem, when you come to Jerusalem, you walk towards the Ir Atikah, the old city. You see these magnificent walls that were built by Suleiman the Magnificent, where in fact it was two Jewish families, Portuguese families from Istanbul, who financed the building of the wall. And they did this because they felt that they could be like the new Nehemiah of the famous characters of the Bible who will rebuild Jerusalem in order to finally bring about the ingathering of the exiles. But it was not to be. Why? Because it was the wrong time. It just wasn't the right time. In the 16th century, there is a famous Jew by the name of Joseph Nasi. He was made a Duke of Naxos by the Turkish Sultan. He started the settlement in Tiberias and Saturn. He rebuilt those cities by founding a textile industry over there and encouraging Jews to come and settle in these cities. And he was likewise taken by this fervor of starting something that would get the Jews to come back to their land, to trigger something. And yet, this was not to be. It wasn't the right time. In the 1700s, you have the disciples of the Gaon of Vilna, the great sage. They likewise thought that, let us go. Let us return to the land of Israel. Perhaps this is going to start something special. It's going to be, again, the trigger that's going to somehow bring about God's grace to bring the Jewish people back to the land. Again, this was not to be. It wasn't the right time. In the 1800s, you have the first Zionist activist. It's actually a rabbi before Herzl. And he had this dream of getting the entire Jewish people to come back to the land of Israel. And to this end, he thought about founding an organization that's going to do fundraising, that's going to be able to buy land in Israel to settle Jews. Sounds very much like the Generasi, doesn't it? That's interesting about this Rabbi Al-Kalai. One of his members was Theodore Herzl's father. And one of his prize students was the rabbi who officiated at Theodore Herzl's bar mitzvah. Just to sometimes contemplate on God's providence and how these events actually come together, how we sometimes fail to be able to connect the dots. So again, he approached, Rabbi Al-Kalai approached the Rothschilds, the Montefiores, but it didn't go. Somehow his idea didn't take hold because it wasn't the right time. It took a combination of Theodore Herzl, of the Zionist Congress in Basel, a combined effort of the Keren Kaemet L'Israel, the Keren HaYesod, to somehow bring about the return of the Jewish people back to their land. It is finally, my friends, the right time. We are now in the right time. I was told that tonight there's going to be a lunar eclipse. Don't know if I'm right about this. This is to me so significant because our sages teach us that the Jewish people resemble the moon. The moon waxes and wanes. The moon grows and shines and then eventually conceals itself only to grow back again. This has been the story of the Jewish people. We are now the time when this moon is shining. We are now at the time which is the right time. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we maximize this opportunity? And whether or not we can all stand to be counted in this amazing effort that is spearheaded by the Generasi in Singapore, and which is gathering here many of our friends from throughout the region. We live in extraordinary times for the state of Israel, but also for all those who understand that ultimately the state of Israel is there to be a beacon of light to the entire world. I'd like to believe that all of us tonight are in some way global ambassadors to the state of Israel. We all play our part to help each in our own way and to make a difference for the future of the state of Israel. Finally, I'd like to conclude with a note about the Torah portion. Jews read a portion of the Torah every week. This week we read about Abraham. Abraham was the first Jew. Called Abram the Hebrew. Do you know what that means, the Hebrew? Avraham Ivri. It means to say the one who is on the other side of the river. What does it mean, the other side? It means to say that he, in a sense, refuses to accept the reality of the day. He is the one who fought, who dedicated his life to bring about the belief of God in a pagan world. That takes a lot of self-sacrifice, it takes a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion. In a way, we are doing the same work. We try to each share and give, to try to bring about a prophetic vision that to so many is something abstract. It's something that is so elusive. And yet, our people, the Jewish nation, and you, I know, believe in these prophetic visions as something that is concrete and tangible, that we are actually privileged to see unfolding before our very eyes. So I want to wish you much, much success in your untiring efforts, that it may be crowned with success, that we may soon celebrate with having an aliyah that is going to grow exponentially, only in health and in happiness always. Amen.
Salam damai dari Fakta Israel.